Hello everyone and welcome back to the Dork Side. I'm the Dork in the Road, and this is 6 things I love about my Honda Africa Twin. I'm the Dork in the Road and I want to be your internet riding buddy, so please consider subscribing for more dual sport and adventure bike videos like this. I'm a proud Honda Africa Twin owner. I have a 2016. I've had it for a year now, put a few thousand miles on it, ridden it on and off the road, taken it moto camping, and done all kinds of fun stuff on it, and I love this bike a ton. If you're in the market for an Africa Twin or you own an Africa Twin, I just wanted to share 6 things that I love about this bike, and you can tell me if you agree or if you're looking forward to loving those things about the Africa Twin of your own. So the first thing I love about my Honda Africa Twin is that it is a big bike that does not feel like a big bike. You start riding this thing at speed, once you're up above 5 miles an hour or so, the weight seems to disappear, it melts away. The bike is 500 plus pounds, but it does not feel like it when you're riding on the road, when you're riding on gravel, when you're riding on even technical or kind of difficult terrain. Once you're up and going, the way this bike is designed, the way the weight is centered, the narrowness of the bike, it feels nimble, it feels light, it's honestly dangerously confidence inspiring. It doesn't feel as different as you would think even from like my DRZ, except for I have a lot more power and the seat's a hell of a lot more comfortable. Standing up, riding this thing around, leaning it into corners on the street and leaning it under me into corners on the gravel, all of that stuff, it feels much smaller than it is. The first thing a lot of people say when you say Africa Twin is, ooh, heavy bike. And yes, you're right, and it does suck to move it around at slow speeds, but once you start moving, the weight is not a factor. I don't feel it at all. So it's a heavy bike that doesn't feel like a heavy bike once you're riding it, and that's one of the things I really love about it. Second thing I love about my Africa Twin, and I kind of alluded to it already, but the narrow design. So they've purposefully taken this big bike but made sure that where you sit and where your legs go down to the ground is narrow. It's a purposeful part of the design to give you this narrow feeling, and it makes it very easy to get your feet on the ground when you need to. So the seat height is high, people see the number and get intimidated, but it doesn't feel as tall as it is because you have basically a straight path to the ground. You don't have to stick your leg way out in order to put it down. So the narrowness of the bike makes it easier to get your feet down when you stop, so much so that it has an adjustable seat, and I thought with my short legs, I have a 30-inch inseam, I would want the low position, and I left it in the low position for maybe 2 rides before I put it back up because I didn't feel like I needed the extra reach to the ground, and it felt weird to sit in the bike instead of on it. So it feels narrow, it's easy to get your feet down, and when you're standing on it and riding, also feels great. Your feet are directly underneath you, you can bend your knees and grip the tank very easily, just like on a smaller bike. It's just a really good design that's really narrow, and so if the weight and the size of the bike is something that's keeping you from considering it, I would urge you to reconsider because you don't feel either one of those things once you're up and going, standing, sitting, hard technical riding, or cruising on the freeway. Really good, well-designed bike that way. The third thing I love about my Honda Africa Twin, and I've never said this about a motorcycle before, is the stock seat. It's the first stock seat I have never felt the need to upgrade. It's very comfortable, it's got the right amount of firmness. If you slide back onto it, you've got a nice wide platform so you don't develop sort of pressure points or anything. You can sit on it for hours at a time, but it also narrows enough at the front that it's easy to stand up and do your maneuvering and move the bike underneath you and grip the tank and all those things that I said. So very comfortable stock seat, pillion seat equally comfortable, and I'm very happy with it. I have no desire to replace it even after putting hours and days on it. Real good, thumbs up. It's the first time I haven't like immediately jumped over to the Seat Concepts website and started pricing a replacement. Number 4 thing I love about my Honda Africa Twin, and this is a thing I really love about the Honda Africa Twin, is the power and the way the power is delivered. So it's got more power than I could ever want. If I want to go 0 to 60 as quickly as possible, I can do that. Give it full throttle, twist it. It's sometimes hard to keep the front end down doing that because it has so much power. If I need a sudden boost of power or torque to get over an obstacle that I wasn't set up for, or to do a hill climb or whatever, there's never been a time when I've twisted that throttle and it didn't have more to give. And that is very confidence inspiring and really fun. I mean, twisting the throttle and taking off every time, that's fun. It never gets old. The power delivery, there's ample power. It's always there when you want it. People look at the lower horsepower number than some of the comparable bikes and think, oh, it's going to be sluggish. It is not. It is super fun to ride. But the best thing about that, not only is there maximum usable power whenever you want it, but it's the way that it's delivered. It is in no way intimidating. It does not surprise you. The power curve is very even. It's a twin. They're known for this, but I've got as much power as I want when I lean into it, but it never surprises me. If I don't want a lot of power, it's easy to manage. It doesn't feel any harder to ride than much smaller bikes than I've ridden. man. You think leader bike, you think 1,000 cc's, and it's intimidating in your mind to sit on and be like, that bike has 100 horsepower, 1,000 cc's, it's probably really powerful. I hope that I don't over rev it or screw up and drop the clutch or whatever. It doesn't feel like that. It is the most user-friendly power delivery of any motorcycle I've ever ridden. And my 2016 doesn't have power modes or anything. That's just the stock configuration. That's just the way the engine delivers power. So I love that about my Africa Twin, that it has ample power, as much as I could ever want, but delivered in an unintimidating, user-friendly way. And I feel like that's a huge selling point, especially if you're not a super experienced rider. I think you'll be more comfortable in the Africa Twin than you might think you would be. Weird sentence. It's a lion roaring when you want it to be, and a purring kitten when you don't. Fifth thing I love about my Africa Twin, it is insanely capable, incredibly well-designed bike. You can watch videos of people jumping this thing over logs and up cliffs and taking on crazy terrain, muddy, sandy, doing rocky sort of technical sections. The bike can handle it all. It'll always be more capable than me. The limiting factor when riding this bike on or off-road is 100% of the time going to be me as a rider and my skills. It's a super capable and confidence-inspiring motorcycle, and I love that about it. I get a ton of confidence from the fact that I know that whenever I get into a hairy situation or a situation that I'm not sure about, all I have to do on this bike is put my feet on the pegs, stand up, twist the throttle, and point the front end where I want to go, and 98% of the time, this bike is going to get me there. It'll do the rest. It's just that good. It can do all kinds of riding and take you all kinds of places, whether you want to cruise for hours and hours and do thousands of miles on the freeway, or you want to head up into the backcountry fully loaded with camping gear. The Africa Twin will get you there and just be begging for more when you get there. The limiting factor is always going to be the rider with this bike. Seriously, it's that good. That's number 5. And number 6, the final thing that I love about my Honda Africa Twin is I feel like it has exactly the right amount of rider aids. Some people like a lot of bells and whistles and a lot of fancying, cornering ABS and ride modes and regulated butt heating seat, self-leveling cup holder, hydration monitor, whatever you want. Like, you can get bikes with a ton of features, Android CarPlay and all that stuff. This Africa Twin does not have those things. It has exactly the rider aids that I want and none of the extra fluff that I don't. It's got ABS, which I can turn off on the rear wheel off-road, which I love, and it's got traction control, which I can adjust and turn off on the fly. I feel like those two things are very useful for safety on the road, but I also love that I can just turn them off when I'm off-road when I don't want them. I don't really want anything else. Fancy touchscreens are cool and I love gadgets just like anyone else, but that's just another part that can fail. All these complicated electronic systems is not what I want to be carrying with me into the backcountry 10s, 20s, hundreds of miles away from cell phone service and civilization. I want the most simple, most useful bike that I can get because I want to know that it's just going to be rock solid reliable. Fortunately, it's a Honda, so it doesn't matter. It's always going to be that, but I feel like it has the rider aids that I want, none of the fluff that I don't want, nothing that makes the bike heavier or less reliable, and that's a great part of this design. I'm actually quite happy I have the regular Africa Twin and not the Adventure Sports, because the Adventure Sports is bigger and has less stuff than I want on it, except for tubeless tires. I'd like to have those. Exactly the right number of rider aids, well-designed bike, perfect for me as a rider, and if you share my philosophy, it'll be perfect for you too. So what do you think? What did I forget? What are things that you love about your Africa Twin, or things that are amazing about the Africa Twin? Leave them in the comments. If you learned something, or you agree with anything I said here, please think about hitting that like button. That really makes the video more visible. And if you want to support future content creation like this, think about becoming a channel member, or maybe using my affiliate links to Amazon, Revzilla, Motocamp Nerd, or Rocky Mountain ATV in the description. You want to see the other side of the coin? You know the Africa Twin is a good bike, but it's not perfect, and you want to know about some things that I hate about it? Check out the 5 things I hate about my Honda Africa Twin video, which I will link for you right here. So make sure you check that out so you get both sides of the coin and you can make an informed purchase decision. But for now and as always, I just want to say thank you for watching, and please, please do not forget to be excellent to each other. Oh, thank you.
Excellent!
I'm the Dork in the Road, and this is a video. It's video fuel. It's basically video fuel. If you want to make videos, just drink a bunch of Diet Pepsi in it. It just happens. This video brought to you by aspartame.